This is my grandfather's office. He was married happily for 62 years. And in 2007, which is a year before he passed away, he finally won a bet with his wife, Mabel, and got $1. So after 62 years of marriage, he finally won a bet after all those years. It's really special. Lombardo's in East Boston, opened in 1963. And as the years progressed, Thanksgiving was always an important time for our family. It was always a time to be together with people in your community and give back. We had a venue and an opportunity with the space we had and the business we had to give back to a greater sense of the community. And so he opened our doors 46 years ago in East Boston to all the seniors and elderly and veterans and homeless shelters around the area and welcomed them to sit with him for Thanksgiving dinner. He wanted them to come and enjoy a free Thanksgiving dinner with him and his entire family and celebrate that day together, because not everybody has somebody to celebrate with. And so he really wanted to take the people who had no one, or the people who didn't have the means to have a full turkey dinner on their table, and provide them with something great on a holiday that was always so special to him and his family. Tradition continues. Exactly what Sal, my grandfather, did is what we do now. And so, you know, we get in the kitchen at 5 a.m. in the morning and we start cooking the turkeys and we start making the mashed potatoes. And since we've been in Randolph, we invite the retired fire chiefs from all the South Shore communities to come and help us. And so as a family, we come here and we start cooking early in the morning, and then we serve everybody. And then we clean up with all volunteers. We have about 100 volunteers this year. And then at the end of the meal, we leave and we go home. This year, my parents are hosting. And we go home and we cook for ourselves. And so we have another full Thanksgiving dinner as a family together and kind of celebrate that day and all we accomplished so far, and looking to the future for happiness. Like the first year and like we do now, is we went out to the community and found the shelters and the senior centers, and we handed out tickets. And the senior centers will report back to the family on how many were received and how many people. So it was like sending out a wedding invitation, you know, and you get responses and RSVPs on who's going to attend. And that's how he ballparked the first year. So this year we'll expect anywhere between 700 and 800 people. From a labor standpoint, it's all volunteers who are coming and donating their time with their families. So we have people from 3 years old all the way up to 90 years old who come and volunteer with us, which is really special. And then all of our vendors who we work with throughout the year donate materials. So I believe everything that we're serving on Thanksgiving this year has been donated by our vendors. The turkeys, the mashed potatoes, the stuffing, the gravy, the squash, the pasta, the pies. People like Montilio's Bakery, they donate all the desserts. And so we reach out and involve the people who we work with, all of our vendors and the people who we support throughout the year, and they support us on this day. And it's just a really great community involvement, and it pulls together a lot of different businesses, and we just happen to be the host. So for the most part, the menu's been the same. You have a traditional Thanksgiving dinner, so your turkey, stuffing, mashed potatoes, green beans, squash, pies for dessert. And then for us, we always have pasta, because we're an Italian family and we eat pasta almost every day. And so we have our pasta with our famous pomodoro red sauce. And then this year we've added a broccoli cheddar soup as a first course. And it's a full plated meal. So the guests come in and they sit down with their families and friends at the tables, and they get served just like they were in a restaurant or just like they were in their home. They don't have to get up and stand in a buffet line. They get to have a really great experience. We have a DJ who donates his time, and so they get up and they dance with everybody, and it's one of the best days of the year by far. We get thank you cards and thank you notes every day. For months to come after this day, because it really is a huge impact on their family and on their community. We got actually a phone call today thanking us for what we're about to do tomorrow from a woman who works in the Veterans Office. Her son is deployed in military, and he hasn't been home for Thanksgiving in 6 years, and she's been coming here and supporting and having a place to call home. And I believe this year her son's going to be home with her, which is really special. So, all of our volunteers, some of them have been coming for 46 years. We've got some volunteers who've been here since day one. This room and this earth isn't big enough for the personality that my grandfather was. Sal was, he was an entrepreneur at heart, and he was a family man. And family was most important. He loved his wife, Mabel. He loved all of his children, and he loved more than anything is all of his grandchildren. And his dream was always to have them be in the family business with him. And we're proud that we now have fourth generation family members in the business. He built a business that was great. He was innovative and he was ahead of his time. But his most important things were giving back to the community and making sure that his family knew how important that was, and also just celebrating time with his family. So our name is Lombardo. And Bardo's is just an abbreviated version of that. And so this might have been on a vehicle back in the 80s as a Bardo's license plate. I don't know if it's still active right now. I don't think so. But this is his office. And if you shine the camera around, you know, he passed away 8 years ago, and it hasn't changed. We haven't done anything, and it's got just a lot of history of who we are and a lot of history of where we've been, and this the impact. And you can see him, you know, in photos with some just great people and out in the community, and he just cared about everyone, and everyone he met was his best friend. And on Thanksgiving, he wanted everyone to come to Lombardo's and celebrate with him because he had so many people he cared about in the community, and he didn't want anyone to be alone. And so it was the best day of the year for us, was all being together and celebrating with people we cared about and loved.